Hey guys, Mac here, bringing you another Nintendo Box video, and today we've got a discussion with GameOverJesse and Macintyre Productions. Today we're going to be talking about Pikmin 4. So we've found out today that Pikmin 4 is not only in development, but also that it's pretty far into its development cycle. So I want to know, what is your experience with the Pikmin series, guys? And also, what are your initial thoughts on Pikmin 4?
Well, when I first heard the news that Pikmin 4 is, at this point, there's not really a clear release platform, whether or not it's going to be in the Wii U or NX or etc. I think it's a pretty safe assumption that it's going to be seeing some form on the NX as well, just because of the vagueness and the broad accessibility that Miyamoto has explained. And that being said, we do have two games that we can somewhat judge will be on the NX, which is Dragon Quest XI and Pikmin 4. And so obviously there's going to be some sort of a... Nintendo's already assembling titles to assemble for their launch for the NX. And whether or not other games will meet that quota to come out, like let's say Mario, Zelda, or Metroid, is yet to be seen, but it's glad to see that Nintendo is putting some serious thought into this.
Yeah, with Pikmin 4, they said they weren't clear on which platform it would be going to. I think that is just their way of saying, no, it's not in development for the Wii U, but they don't want to go ahead and announce that it's in development for the NX, because they have said many times they want to support both the Wii U and the NX with software at the same time. That way the people that's invested in the Wii U don't feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. But if we look at Nintendo's past history with their releases of the Pikmin game, there's only been one game per console, and it would just make sense if it was in development for the NX, but it also could be a game coming out for either the 3DS or the new 3DS, since Pikmin is one of Nintendo's larger games in terms of sales, and I don't think there's ever been a Pikmin game on a handheld console, so that could be something that they're fooling around with. And the fact that a lot of Nintendo fans and even more of the casual players all have a 3DS, and it has a much larger install base than the Wii U does, it would sort of make sense for them to kind of dip their toes in and test the water in terms of a handheld Pikmin game and how it would work.
I think that that's certainly a possibility, but I want to know more specifically. Do you guys think that this Pikmin 4 is something that's promising? Are you personally a fan of the series? Or are you a bit disappointed that the development resources are going to be going to this game? Obviously we know that Pikmin is Miyamoto's baby.
Well, I kind of view this whole leak, quote-unquote leak, to be kind of reassuring, since right now I believe Nintendo's in a bit of the twilight. They're at kind of the swan song of the Wii U, and I'm pretty sure that they're just focusing all their developmental resources, or the more credible developmental resources, on the NX. And honestly, I have never played the Pikmin series, but I hear a lot of good things about it, and I would definitely want to give it a try, since Pikmin 3 is on the Wii U, and I hear plenty of good things about it. But Pikmin as a series, and giving that as a launch for the NX, that does bring into light that Miyamoto is really nit and greedy in terms of the launch for the NX. So I'm pretty sure Miyamoto has his hands full and trying to deliver the NX to the best launch it could possibly give, which brings the whole question whether or not Mario will see a launch for the NX as well. I do wholeheartedly believe that Mario will appear at the launch of the NX in some form or another, whether or not it's the Galaxy 3 thing going around here, or maybe some other new title being developed. But I'm definitely sure Mario will see some sort of a representation within the launch of the NX.
Yeah, going back to Pikmin really quick, if we remember, I think it was around the same time the Wii U version launched. There was also the small few-minute Pikmin short that Nintendo came out with, and back then they had also came out with a few 30-second long Wind Waker shorts, and they were just experimenting in video, and now they've came out and said they're more open to pursuing movies with some of their characters in the future. And I think with the Pikmin short, he could have picked any of his characters from any of his franchises to sort of make that short. They went ahead with Pikmin, and now they're working on the new Pikmin for the next console, presumably. And I'm curious on if you guys think that the little Pikmin short they worked on could be sort of foreshadowing a larger Pikmin movie that they also want to experiment with and release side by side with the Pikmin game whenever it comes out. Do you think that could be a possibility?
Well, I'm not particularly sure on that, Accord. Right now, we already don't really know what Nintendo's doing behind the scenes and trying to deliver which particular appropriate titles should do for a good launch. My hope is that they're trying to give a large variety of different platforms to deliver on the NX. For example, we already have Dragon Quest XI, that's pretty much confirmed at this point, which is developed by Square Enix, the whole RPG setup. And we have Pikmin 4, which is, I think Pikmin is honestly its own genre from the gameplay I've kind of seen at this point, which is definitely a unique game concept in itself. But I would like to see Nintendo give more of a stark variety in terms of other platforms or other genres to deliver on the NX, which it could be satisfied by Mario, Zelda, and Metroid, and possibly other IPs. I know there's some clash whether or not Splatoon should get a sequel and have that to be on the NX, since Splatoon actually sold better in Japan, sold better than Smash Brothers in Japan, which is actually a pretty startling revelation, actually. So I would definitely like to see Nintendo give more variety in terms of their launch.
I certainly think that the whole Pikmin movie idea alongside with the game is definitely an interesting concept. I think that it's something that we probably won't see, but I do think that the Pikmin short movies was kind of foreshadowing the game announcement. It was something that while people weren't certain of, it was something that they thought was definitely possible because they already had the engine for Pikmin 3. They're going to reuse that for Pikmin 4 in all likelihood. And also, it just gets a lot of love, does this franchise. And it's definitely interesting to see. I certainly think that it'll be an NX game and a launch title for the NX. But also, while we're talking about the NX, guys, is there one single other NX launch title that you are really dying to see?
In terms of NX launch titles, there's a lot of people debating on whether or not Zelda Wii U would get a double launch treatment like Twilight Princess, but I mean, that's kind of not really going to be answered anytime soon. So the without a doubt launch title that will more than likely be coming is a 2D style platforming Mario game. And I know Mario Maker just came out, but that's what makes the Mario for the NX that much more interesting, because if they've already released the game for the Wii U where you can make your own Mario levels, what kind of creativity and ideals do they have to come up with to make it a brand new game? Or are they even going to come out with another 2D Mario so soon for the NX? It could be a full 3D style game like Mario 64's Sunshine or the Galaxy series. And if that's the case, then that's what all of the Nintendo fans have been wanting, is another game like Galaxy, whether it be going with the U and the Wii U and almost all of Nintendo's games coming out with U at the end of the title. There was some speculation that a sequel to Galaxy and Galaxy 2 would be Super Mario Universe, since it would be on the next console and it would go along with the U being in the title, and it would just sort of make sense in terms of you make the leap after Galaxy to Universe. In terms of what they're going to do with a Mario style game, that's what interests me the most, because if they come out with a Metroid game or another Star Fox game, we can kind of already see what that's going to look like. I mean, we can sort of imagine what the next step for Metroid would be in our heads, but in terms of Mario, they come out with it every year, but they just kind of shut themselves off with Mario Maker in terms of making another 2D game. So if they did, they would have to make it really interesting, really entice people to go out and buy it, because in their minds it would be like, well, I can just make my own Mario levels, or I can download all the Mario levels I want from the internet.
Well, that's a good point you made there. Really, the whole Super Mario Universe concept, I honestly don't really know how to feel about that. I love Super Mario 3D World, like the soundtrack, everything. I know people didn't like the whole 2.5D concept, but I think it worked well. In regards to, like, let's say a brand new true successor to the Galaxy series, I'm not particularly sure. Nintendo's always been known to just be very, very innovative in their concepts, and that's why I don't really know what to feel about them continuing the Galaxy lineup. I personally felt that they should just start over and make something brand new. Since Galaxy 2 was a great sequel to Galaxy 1, and it has stellar review scores, and right up to par to Ocarina of Time, in fact. So I'm more in the side that they should just innovate from the ground up and do something much more revolutionary in terms of platforming, kind of akin to what Galaxy did to the Mario series, or this Super Mario 64 did with platforming in general. So I would definitely like to see the Mario series go into a brand new spectrum. Maybe Universe could be that brand new spectrum. Maybe it could do something wildly revolutionary and unpredictable. But I do feel like there is more than one Mario game in development. In terms for the NX, there's going to be something in terms of a launch. It could be Super Mario Galaxy 3 or a brand new thing. But I do have a feeling that more than one Mario game is in development. That being said, though, I do feel like there'll be let's say a wave of new titles be launched at the NX. Mario, Dragon Quest XI, and Pikmin 4, that's already been more or less confirmed. I think we could safely infer that that's going to be out once the NX is revealed, let's say E3 2016. In regards to other titles, let's say Zelda Wii U, which I personally believe it's going to be making a port on the NX in some way or another. Amiibo functionality, that's basically a given at this point. There's going to be some form of an NFC chip detector on the device. And in terms of, like, let's say other hardware, I personally believe we'll be seeing more than one piece of hardware. Since we have the whole leaks of whether or not the NX will have a disk driver and the whole quality of life thing, and the possibility that there's going to be a new handheld device, or maybe not, maybe it'll be fused together. But regardless, I do feel like we'll be seeing more than one piece of hardware.
Okay, I think that's certainly both a very interesting take on it, and I think that brings us to the end of this discussion. So I want to thank Jesse and I want to thank Andy for coming on to this discussion. You can check out their channels. There'll be a link to both their channels in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. If you feel especially generous, then you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, as well as commenting your opinions on Pikmin 4 and the NX in general. So thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.